Hi, welcome back to the Arcade Repair Tips video series. Today we're going to talk about how to safely remove and install a chassis on your game. We get a lot of questions about this and we want you guys to pay close attention. Just a few steps, and it's real easy to do, but some very important steps. First thing, as always, we're going to make sure that the power is off to our game. Now don't always just turn the game off, go ahead and unplug it. We don't want to have anything happen or any accident. So the game is unplugged. We're also going to unplug the power coming up to the chassis, which should be your two wires that you'll see, kind of heavy duty wires. A lot of times they have a caution label or something on them. We don't want any power up here when we're working. Then, as you've seen before, we're going to go ahead and discharge this monitor. We have our screwdriver with our lamp cord and our alligator clips. You guys know about that. We're just going to go ahead and take out the anode to the flyback. Make sure that, we puff that, and we even do it. So this game has been off for a while, but if it really pops loud the first time that you do that, come back maybe a minute or two later and do that again. Sometimes you'll even get that 2 or 3 times. Let's get all the power out of there. Anyway, now that the power is out, we're not worried about getting shocked. Then let's go ahead and start to remove the chassis. Like I said before, there's just 6 or 7 steps involved, and we've already done a couple of them, so we're almost halfway there. So we just want to make sure that we get everything unplugged correctly, and then plug back in. Now, I would leave your chassis mounted or screwed in until the last step. So power's first, then we want to discharge, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take this neck board off. And a lot of times they'll have glue and some sticky stuff in here. It may be a little tough the first couple times that you do this, so expect to tug on it pretty tough. But be careful because it is glass and we don't want to break it. Okay? So you'll see that that comes right off like that. So we've got power, anode, and we've got the neck board removed. As you can see, there was a little bit of glue or silicone that they use a lot of times to keep that on there, keep it straight. People ask me sometimes, do you put it back on there? No, normally I've never seen one come that loose. Maybe a couple times. It's easier just to push it back on there. So be careful with that. Once we've got that removed, you'll notice that there is a coiling that usually goes all the way around your tube. And you remember we shot a video on degaussing a monitor? Well, that's what that is. That's your degauss coil that's attached to your tube. And usually you'll have a couple wires coming down from it. And we want to make sure and unplug those. Okay, now that this is removed, so we've got the degauss removed, then you also want to find the yoke wires, which you say, well, what are the yoke wires? Well, this is your yoke. This is the part of the monitor we call your yoke right here. And it's going to have some wires. It's what tells your game what orientation. In other words, which way is up, which way is down, which way is left, which way is right. So we want to find those wires and remove them. Now, in some of your chassis, you may have 2 different places to plug this in. So you may want to take a marker and mark where you took this one out of. This one only has 1. So the yoke stays with the yoke here, but it is attached to the chassis, so we want to get that out of our way. And then all we have left is the game wires. Remember, your chassis doesn't know what to do unless your game is telling it. And they're usually 4 or 5 wires. That's what we're always talking about, the red, green, blue, ground sync wires. And they're coming straight from our game board. They usually look something like this. Now, once those are removed, you've got this. I told you it's real simple. We're almost done. The only other thing that we want to look for is sometimes they'll have a ground wire coming. A lot of times it'll plug into the chassis. And we just remove the ground wire, or, it'll go into the neck board, or sometimes it goes onto the chassis itself. But anyway, remove the ground. I have seen it before to be soldered on here. And this is a great example of something that's okay to do. A lot of times we'll just cut it and then we'll strip those wires and put a wire nut on them. So you want to be able to remove it without having to unsolder everything. So that's it. All the wiring is done. Now all we have to do is whatever screws are holding it, we need to take them out, and then we can take the chassis all the way out of the game. And there you go, folks. One chassis removed, quick and simple. So if you can't fix it or you need to send it in, this is what you guys can do and send us in your chassis. Okay, now that we remove the chassis, this is where we're going to do our repairs. And of course, if you guys don't feel comfortable, this is what you could send us and we could do a repair on. But after the repairs are done, it's just basically the same steps. The first thing I would do is mount it back in there, and then you're going to hook up the last step, of course, being to hook up the power. Everything else is you can do in any kind of order that you want. As long as you do the power first and last, I think those would be the two steps that I would recommend. So anyway, and be careful putting the neck on. Now I'm going to show you that the neck is made a certain way. You can see this, how it's shaped. Also, you notice that the neck of your chassis is shaped. It only goes on one way, so be careful putting that on. Make sure it lines up. It'll feel good when you push it on there, and it'll go all the way up. If you're getting a big resistance or something, watch also that these pins don't get crooked or something. If they do, you can take like a needle nose pliers or something and kind of straighten them out. So be careful putting the neck on. Of course, this is the flyback we talked about plenty of times before. I mean, the anode that hooks to the flyback. I should correct myself. But let's be careful hooking this stuff up. Just take your time. It's only just a few things, and Jonathan will list those in the steps or what you should take off. So occasionally we get a chassis around, it's got a few extra things or something. There's some ones out there that are a little different. If you have any questions, by all means, email or contact us, call us. You guys know how to get in touch with us by now. Anyway, thanks again for watching Arcade Repair Tips video series, now in high def.